Right, so let me say this plainly. People keep arguing over capitalism versus socialism versus communism, like they're picking a religion. And that's the first lie. These aren't moral identities, they're management systems. That's it. Different ways to organize resources, power, labor, incentives. None of them purify human nature. None of them magically remove greed, ego, corruption, or tribalism. Corruption doesn't come from the system, it comes from the level of consciousness running the system. And that's always thrown me is the moral cosplay, the virtue signaling that people do. This idea that you're an anti-imperialist or pro-communism, you're somehow more evolved or more enlightened. You're not. Let's be honest. Communism sounds amazing on paper until you actually try to run it. Because once you implement it, you realize it needs centralized control, which means a small group managing the many, and that concentration of power almost always turns tyrannical. Not because the idea is evil, because humans are flawed. Socialism, same pattern. It's for the people, sure, but those people still have to elect leaders to decide for them. Power still concentrates, elites still emerge, incentives still matter. Capitalism, please. Instead of party officials, you get corporations, lobbies, and financial leverage. Different players, same dynamics. So what's the common denominator in every system? Humans, power, incentives. Running a civilization isn't vibes, it isn't slogans, it isn't protest signs. It's an engine. It takes resources, logistics, enforcement, trade-offs, hard decisions. Anyone pretending otherwise has never built anything beyond social media following. Now listen, I love visionary futures. I respect people like Jacques Fresco. I respect ideas like the Venus Project. I love the idea of Star Trek level societies. I'm not anti-utopia, but we're not there yet. You don't hand Ferrari keys to someone who hasn't learned how to drive one. Consciousness has to mature before systems can, which is why the real conversation isn't which ism is superior. The question is childish, it's tribal, it's a distraction. The real question is this: what combination of systems produces the most stability, the most innovation, the most productivity, and the most accountability given where humanity actually is right now? Which brings me to the uncomfortable truth. We've been fighting each other over bullshit. Marching, protesting, warring, virtue signaling, arguing over which system will save us, while history keeps screaming the same answer. None of them do. Not by themselves. The bigger problem isn't capitalism, socialism, or communism. The bigger problem is immature thinking, low accountability, and ideology masquerading as morality. If we actually want to move towards a Star Trek level civilization, post-scarcity, high trust, high cooperation, it doesn't start with tearing each other apart over isms. It starts with grown-up conversations, real ones, honest ones, asking questions like, what actually works? What clearly doesn't? And what incentives corrupt? Where does power need limits? And how do we design systems for humans as they are, not as we fantasize ourselves to be? Stop worshiping isms. Start extracting wisdom. Because the moment you believe your system is the cure-all, you've stopped thinking. And history shows exactly where that leads.